You mentioned that it's the most challenging summons to fight. Why is that?
Well, because firstly, speeding tickets, most of the officers that write speeding tickets, as you well know, are the most well trained
Yes.
and the most experienced. An average officer in a precinct or some other patrol duty is not necessarily going to be experienced to write speeding tickets. And the law requires that the person who writes a speeding ticket have some experience.
Yes.
So the officers that are writing the speeding tickets are the most experienced. And so they present the greatest challenge to me to try to overcome the case. Also, they're the most technical of almost any ticket that I encounter. A lot of elements that the officer has to prove, and so it's sort of a little bit of a cat and mouse game when I go on these cases, listening carefully, finding the holes, finding the errors, the mistakes, the discrepancies, and trying to rip those open and show the judge that the officer, while he's a careful observer, he's not, on this case, hasn't made out all the requirements that he has to make out. And so even on those 119-mile-an-hour cases, if the officer doesn't prove it by the prima facie elements that are required, and that's the buzzword, the prima facie, then the judge should really find them not guilty, despite their feeling that the person was traveling at 119 miles an hour and deserves to be guilty. They still have to follow the law.